Hey, welcome. In a world that is just overflowing with content, the biggest challenge for any of us isn't just getting seen, it's actually being remembered. So today, we're going to dive into what I'm calling the architecture of unforgettable content. We're going to break down how you can make work that really, truly lasts.
Seriously, think about it for a second. You probably scroll through hundreds, maybe thousands of posts every single day. So why is it that a tiny few stick in your brain while almost all the others just vanish the second you scroll past? That is the big question we're here to answer.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down the real problem most of us are facing. Then we'll get into 3 powerful types of hooks that make your content stick, connect, and build authority. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a super simple framework you can start using like today. Okay, let's jump into part 1, the forgettable content problem. This is all about breaking free from a trap we all fall into, just chasing visibility for its own sake. This right here, this question is a total game changer. So many of us are obsessed with, I just need more eyeballs, more views. But what if people are already seeing your stuff and it's just not leaving a mark? What if the real enemy isn't being unseen, but being forgotten? And this lays it all out perfectly. Look at these 2 mindsets. Over on the left, you've got the visibility game. You're chasing likes, views, shares. They feel good, but honestly, they're fleeting. Now look at the right. This is the memorability game. You're building recall, authority, and real connection. This is where the lasting value is. All right, let's get into the practical stuff. We're going to look at our first set of tools. These are hooks for initial impact. They're designed to make your ideas grab hold of someone's attention from the very first word and just not let go. Oof, this one's a tough question, but you have to ask it. There is an endless fire hose of information out there. It is so easy to just become more background noise. The real work is creating something that actually cuts through it all, something that demands attention. And this is such a critical distinction. Your content can be perfectly logical, totally sensical, but that doesn't mean anyone's going to remember it an hour later. You have to understand the difference between someone just comprehending what you said and that idea truly sticking with them. Just let that phrase sink in for a second. Sense versus stickiness. This should be your new filter for everything you create. Before you hit publish, ask yourself, okay, does this just make sense, or does it have that little bit of magic, that stickiness that's going to make it live in someone's head long after they've scrolled away? Okay, so you've figured out how to make your content stick. Awesome. But that's just level 1. The next level is about building a real bond. So this section is all about hooks for a deeper connection, how to turn those passive viewers into a real engaged audience. Clarity is just the price of admission. Of course, your stuff has to be clear, but clarity by itself doesn't build a relationship. Meaning is what hits someone on an emotional level. It's what makes people feel seen and understood. That's what creates that lasting bond. This question forces us to look past those vanity metrics we talked about earlier. A like is just consumption. It's a quick tap. But a comment that says, wow, this really made me think, or I needed to hear this today, that's a connection. So are you building a community or just a crowd of consumers? And that leads us right to the top of the pyramid, our last set of hooks, all about building real authority. This is how you cement your reputation and really define what makes you and your content one of a kind. Listen, your authenticity is your single greatest asset. We live in a world of copy-paste, recycled ideas. A unique point of view is what cuts through all that. Your voice, your perspective, the way you explain things, that's what people come back for. That's what they'll remember. So, if I were to ask your audience to describe what you do in one sentence, what would they say? Having a crystal clear answer to this is the bedrock of authority. Are you the person they go to for deep dives? For inspiring stories? For quick actionable tips? You've got to define it before they can remember it. So, we've talked a lot about the why. Now let's get super practical with the how. This section gives you a simple 3-step framework you can use to start putting these hooks to work right away. And here's the recipe. It's so simple, it's brilliant. First, take your hook and wrap it in a personal story. That's what makes it relatable. Second, make sure you land on a really strong, sharp insight. Give them that aha moment. And third, and this is crucial, be ruthless about focus. Don't try to say 10 things at once. Say one thing powerfully. Look, if you only take one single thing away from our time together today, please let it be this. It's time to shift your entire mindset, your whole strategy, away from just chasing visibility and toward earning memorability.
That right there is the secret to building something that truly matters. And I want to leave you with this last question to really think about. It's a pretty sobering thought, isn't it? But it's also the ultimate test of unforgettable content. Are you creating work that is so valuable, so essential to your audience, that its absence would actually leave a hole? Because that's the goal.